Hello, welcome. This is it. We are live on Facebook. This is a first for me personally, and I've no doubt it's a first for our two very, very special guests. Let's have a collective round of applause. There's a few people here. All right, easy. Ben and George, welcome. Now, one of the main questions that we had earlier on when we were prompting people to send in questions was, where are you and who chose the wallpaper? Well, we're not in my loft, we're not in my man shed, we are actually in the facility where the England boys spend their off-season training, or where they prepare for a big tournament like we are at the moment. So we're in the loft. This is where the England team actually play pool. So we've come up away from the rest of the lads, and we're going to pose some questions to the fellas for you watching live on Facebook. So welcome on board. Before we crack on, let me get you to send us some questions, because we do have a great opportunity to ask two guys, integral guys, part of the team, some big questions. So send them on our Facebook page. You know what to do. So fellas, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. First questions first. We're going into this another series, the Mutual Wealth series. Lots of preparation has been done in Portugal. Let's talk about that first, because we talked about Deadly Tuesday off camera. Let's talk about it on camera. First of all, why did we go to Portugal? Why did the England team go to Portugal?
Well, I think for a couple of reasons, really. One was to mix up the environment. I think whenever we come back here, they want it to be test week, and that's the only focus. So it was nice to get some sun, wasn't it, George?
Yeah.
Get some warm weather training. And main thing as well is just break it away. We've been at our clubs, we've been working hard, connect together. Let's go somewhere where there's no distractions, but nice weather to train in. And we certainly got a lot out of the week for sure.
It looks like you used Factor 50, and it looks like you didn't use any.
He's red, isn't he?
He is red.
Yeah, constantly.
Or if you
it's
just
a bit warm in here, mate. These lights, yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. But is it nice to get back together with the rest of the England squad? Because obviously the season's up and running. How is the atmosphere for those first initial hours when you get back together, most of you banging heads anywhere in the season? What's it like? What goes on? What kind of conversation happens?
It was great, to be honest, seeing all the lads again. It's obviously been a long time since the Australia tour, so we've had a couple of months with our clubs playing against each other. But you spend the first couple of hours just greeting everybody and catching up with everyone and seeing what they've been up to. And obviously we played against each other 2 or 3 weeks ago, so share a few stories within games and stuff like that. But yeah, after that it's pretty much straight into what we do with England and catching up with what we're trying to achieve this series.
All right, we'll talk about that in a moment. Ben, you're going to crack on. We're going to play a game of killer.
Come on, Ben.
Who's the best pool player out of you two?
Not me.
All right,
but I'll back myself.
All right, no pressure,
Just a
George.
couple of warm-ups.
That is a good warm-up.
Right,
if he sneaks
don't scuff it live.
If he sneaks out of vision, we apologise.
Right,
and if the signal drops out, that's not O2's fault. Let's just clear that up.
Start.
Oh, there you go. Great shot. Well done. So what kind of stuff were you doing in Portugal? Because obviously you're at the peak of your fitness anyway, because the season is up and running. How do you take an England setup, or the England setup? How do they take it forward in training?
Well, the biggest thing that is the intensity between your club games to international games, and how quick and the speed of the games played at. So the biggest thing that we've done is try and emulate games, international games, see what the stats are in terms of your running volume, in terms of how many contacts there are within a minute, and we try and replicate that within training. So to do that, you have to work very hard, and we had a tough one on Tuesday. Whilst I just put another ball, you just talk about that.
Yeah, go on. So talk to us about Tuesday. Why was it so tough? Because when you guys walked into the loft and saw the pool table, there's a big sigh of relief, because we did mention off camera Tuesday. What happened on Tuesday in Portugal?
Tuesday was planned to be our toughest day, intensity-wise. So we all turned up expecting a tough day, but you missed that, did you?
Yeah.
The beginning part of the session we had a bit of conditioning, which were sort of repeated sprints, and they did it old school where they put the actual timings on like a CD or a speaker, and it felt like the bleep test, didn't it, Ben?
Yeah.
But,
that's shocking.
So for the first 10 minutes of training, we was doing these high intensity sprints, running, and it's like just shocked the system to everybody, I think. And then straight into games, rugby games, back into running. And
how much rest is between each?
15 seconds.
Yeah.
Exactly. Really? So you did, hang on, you did sprints, 15-second rest, then straight into rugby stuff.
So you go. So it's 8 sprints in total. It's about covering about what, George? 35, 40 metres. Yeah. You've got 5 seconds to complete the meterage, I think, top of mind. 5 seconds to complete about 40 metres. You then have 15 seconds to jog down. Once you've done got to the meterage, you then jog to the far end. By that time, you've probably got 5 seconds left until you have to go again. You do that 8 times into rugby, which is 12x12, high intensity. Back into that, another 8 reps. And then we went into contact conditioning, which is mine and George's favourite, really, which is another fitness thing, which is basically all the big guys get together and beat each other up in a minute.
Well, and you just watch?
And, well, unfortunately, we have to get involved in that one, but we tend to, we stick together, don't we, in that one. I mean, we work hard, don't get me wrong.
No,
but,
of course.
I'd rather tackle George than I would Billy Vunipola.
well, that's a good thing, really, because the first game that we're going to play in this All Mutual Wealth series is against the South Africans.
Yeah.
And let's not beat around the bush. They are massive.
They are.
They are huge. You got some big units playing for South Africa. So it's good that you're doing all the physical contact. How do you prepare for a team like that? Because they're like no other team that you're going to face. They're just monsters.
They are, and
and I mean that in a nice way.
Yeah, in a nice way. They're a very physical nation in terms of how they like to play rugby. Very much same way they sort of hit the try and get the gain line over the first phase, then come really hard around the corner and just try and almost sort of run over the top of you. And if you match that, they'll just try and run harder the next time a little bit. It's a very confrontational team. So for us, we've put a lot of emphasis on our tackle technique, haven't we, George? About making sure that the first guy goes in as low as he can. Try and, the first rule of rugby is tackle them by their legs and hopefully they can't carry on running. And that's a little bit of the weekend. With their big guys, we're going to have a real emphasis and a big focus on trying to chop tackle. Okay, and do you think this is the perfect time to play the South Africans? Because I think they've lost 4 out of the last 5, haven't they?
Yeah, I think if anything, it makes them a bit more dangerous. Like you said, they're probably not happy with where they are at the minute. So any team that comes to Twickenham and turns up at Twickenham for the first game of the series will be wanting to put one over us. So we've got to make sure we're ready for it.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be watching.
Cheers, mate.
I'll be watching on the sofa, nice and warm and wrapped up, while you run into some big South African.
What's your pre-match watch?
It's just a cup of tea.
Just a cup of tea?
Just a cup of tea, and just look up and say, "Thank God it's not me." But we wish you all the very best. Let's take some questions from people who are watching. Jonathan Springer, give me that board. There's a lady stood by the board. No, give me that one as well. This is what it's all about.
Go on, George, get another one in quick.
Sorry, mate. There you go. Right, so Jonathan Springer says, if you two switched positions, what advice would you give each other? That's a great question.
I'd tell Ben to listen a bit more.
Honestly, are you literally about to say I'll tell him to stop talking as much?
Oh, really?
Him to listen and stop talking.
Well, you guys played for 4 years together, didn't you?
Yeah, we played a fair amount of games together, haven't we, George? But there's no way I could play fly half. I just couldn't.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I've got it in me. I'm happy at 9.
Really?
If we were to change positions, what advice I'd give to you, George? Not a lot, to be fair. You'd be all right. I reckon you'd slot in. Me, on the other hand, I think I'd struggle.
Oh, what a lovely guy. Nice one, Ben. All right, next one. James Robinson says, if you could have played with any England player ever, past or present, who would it be? That's a good question. Thank you, James Robinson.
That is a good question.
Because we've had some belters.
Yeah, for me personally, someone like Jason Robinson, just because he was electric. Obviously, watched him for years, growing up. One of the guys that probably make you want to play the game. So to play with him would have been incredible. The space he'd have given you because of the danger that he brought.
Yeah, he was like a wily coyote on the field. As soon as he got it, he would do that, and
Mad
you
man.
think, wow, he's gone away.
Unbelievable.
I'd quite like to have played with Martin Johnson just because of the leader of a guy he is. Obviously the game's changed massively, but he looked to be completely in control of his team when he played for England. So I think it'd be intriguing and very interesting to play under his leadership.
Yeah, and get into his mindset
Yeah.
and how he approached the game and how he apparently some of his halftime talks were epic, getting them revved up.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be coached by Jono when I first got involved with England. He was in charge, and I was able to be a part of some of his team talks that he'd give us before we went out and played, and they were incredible.
I bet they were
incredible. Yeah.
Right, Alexis Safin, who's part of the Rose Army. Hello to everyone involved in the Rose Army. Who in camp makes everyone laugh? Who in camp makes everyone laugh?
Everyone.
Joe Marler's very funny.
Joe Marler probably makes 50% of the squad laugh, and the other 50 can't really work out him, probably. But Joe Marler I find very amusing.
Johnny May makes people laugh, not because he's funny, but he's just
interesting.
Interesting, yeah. He's a very interesting bloke.
That's the nicest way you could describe Johnny, just interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've been fortunate enough to meet him a few times, and I still walk away going,
yeah,
okay.
Can't suss him out, mate.
Yeah, no, you can't. Interesting character, really interesting
he's funny,
character.
but obviously James Haskell's obviously not with us for he's obviously at home recovering, and hopefully we'll see him back out soon. But he does keep the boys amused, doesn't he, George?
Yeah. I think he's trying to keep the boys amused now with everything he's posting on.
Yeah, non-stop, and he's just he needs to
chill
just making sure everyone's aware that he hasn't gone.
Any excuse to stand in his speedos.
yeah.
Let's be honest, he'll take it. All right, Audrey Pishaw, I think that's how you say your name. If you could be anyone else for the day, who would you be?
Anyone
outside of rugby.
Anyone in the world.
Potted one.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well done, George.
Anyone else for a day?
Go on. Yeah, who would you be? Movie star?
Yeah,
I'd be a movie
see what
star.
it's like being on like a movie set for a day. Maybe like I don't know, Daniel Craig and like a James Bond would be quite good for a day. See how they all done, all the special effects and everything like that.
You fancy yourself as a bit of a Bond character?
Oh,
surely not.
Nah, probably not.
No. All right, fair enough.
If they want to give me a role, though, I'll happily take
it.
Why
not? Why not? Ashley Eagle says, it's her birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday for Wednesday, Ashley. What's it like when you first walk onto the field at Twickenham?
It's incredible, actually.
Pretty epic.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those questions you get asked a lot, and it's really hard to ever sort of explain just how brilliant it is.
Well, I think as a fan, when you go to Twickenham, it always sends a shiver down my spine when you guys put 110% effort into the national anthem.
Yeah,
that's what makes me just. Even though it just makes me tingle because you sing it with so much passion, and I think that's the start of all right, fans, let's get ready, let's go.
Yeah,
and I think when we play South Africa, that's going to be a real pivotal moment. Because you know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. I think you just hit with an absolute noise when you walk out the tunnel, and the anthem is the best bit, really. It's the bit that you can really enjoy, and as I say, you can get emotional about it. It's pretty cool. Sorry if I got out of shot for a second here. I'm just going to pop this.
Henry Vivian, rugby question. How important is it, the connection between the halfbacks?
Yes, obviously very important. You obviously have a big effect on the game in terms of the way you want your team to play. Obviously, you create a plan in the game in the week. Sorry, Ben. Create a plan in the week, and then you obviously sorry, let him answer this one. You want to go and try and execute that weekend, and obviously the halfbacks are pretty important to that. So when Ben listens, it usually works out all right. When he doesn't, it's
obviously doesn't.
Do you find it difficult to concentrate?
I'm going to hit you with this.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
No, it's key. The connection is key.
It's not very long.
As George says, it's you sort of a lot of the decisions that are made in terms of your attack play or the way the game's going, and you have to recognise as quickly as possible as halfbacks what the problems are, and then come up with solutions. And sometimes the easy thing is actually seeing what the problems are. The hardest thing I find is actually coming up with solutions behind it.
Well, and especially because the pace of the game is so quick.
Yeah, you've only got short stoppage to try and come up with you might run a move and it may have not worked, and what can we do next time? Where's the fullback in the move? Did the centre bite in? There's all these things, isn't there, George?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure this weekend because we haven't beaten the South Africans for like 10 years. And would that be mentioned prior to the game in the locker room? Are you aware of that? How does Eddie motivate you in the locker room? Does he fire out statistics?
Yeah, we've spoken about 2006 was the last time England beat South Africa, and we've said don't use it as motivation, but more the fact that we use it as a way of we realise how big a challenge this is, and how they'd probably feel confident coming to Twickenham, having won in the last 10 years, and we've sort of approached it that way, haven't we? Rather than a sort of motivation, we've almost used it as a way of actually, they're going to back themselves here, and we're going to have to be absolute on it, which is a good way of looking at it.
Well, here's a question: as winter draws in, as winter is drawn upon us, and it's getting a bit chilly, what kind of weather conditions are you hoping for at Twickenham? Is there any the cold, would that affect them more than it'll affect us, or will it be an even playing field no matter what the weather?
Do you know what?
Do you want it wet? Do you want it dry?
I find that the worst conditions, and George is probably similar to me, is actually when it's rained and then it's dry, George, because the ball just sits really greasy. If it's going to rain, I'd rather it just hammer it down. It's actually easier to play in that than it is when you've had some rain in the morning and it's still there and it becomes real greasy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But obviously a nice sort of 7 degrees dry day would be nice.
It would. Well, unfortunately, we've just looked at the weather. No, I'm joking. Right, we've got. Let me do a couple of questions from people, just these that have come in, and thank you very much for your questions.
Get a word in with them.
Really appreciate it. Chris Williams, who uses the most hair products? Who uses the most hair products out of you two?
Come on, George.
Oh yeah, look at that.
His hair's never out of place.
Nice. That looks good. Honest, it does. Chelsea Knox,
that much.
what's your favourite part of rugby?
Favourite part?
Yeah, winning.
Winning, yeah.
And being in the
that.
change room with the boys is good fun.
Yeah. Harrison Short, what part of training do you enjoy the most? The ice bath. It's got to be when it's finished and over with. Surely, when it's done.
What's the best bit about training? It's all pretty good, I guess. Probably. Go on, George. You answer the question. Look.
Yeah,
He's thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Goal kicking.
I always like it when we're practicing our attack.
Yeah.
Our attack, yeah, that's always the most enjoyable.
All
You've got
in
the
place
ball in
stuff.
your hand and
Yeah.
you can have a crack.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions from my perspective because a lot of people fitness is huge at the moment. Right, a lot of people like training. What's your most favourite exercise, and what exercise do you benefit most from?
Probably similar to what we did on Tuesday out there in terms of the intensive running, shuttles. It's not fun, but it's the most beneficial for me in terms of the position I play, and the crossover from that to actually onto the pitch is huge. So, might be 10 seconds of running, see how far you can get, 15 seconds rest, repeat 8 times, minute off, do again, something like that.
Conditioning.
Basically, yeah.
You're like the only person who likes conditioning.
No, I'm not, but that's the most. I need
just come
to be
after
fit.
it,
Yeah. So,
God.
unfortunately, yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to get a little bit quicker at the minute, so any legs exercise in the gym.
Sprinting.
Yeah, but you need to get a strength base, so a squat or a leg press, and then trying to transfer that obviously to sprints. So.
Very good. And do you have specific sprinting coaches within the England setup?
Yeah, so some of the guys at the S&C have got a bit of background in speed and doing that sort of work, and they obviously bring that in especially with the backs.
Yeah.
The way we warm up and some of the sessions we do in the week will be speed based. Yeah.
Fire the glute.
It's all about the glutes, mate.
It really is.
Big.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap that up. Do we have to wrap it up? Because we could go on for ages. Oh, we've got to wrap it up. That's a shame. But you know what? We'll do another Facebook Live. Maybe not with the boys, but we'll grab some other England players and do a Facebook Live. Thoroughly enjoyed that.
Thank you.
I could stand and chat.
Cheers, man.
Cheers, man.
All night. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to the Man
Cheers,
Shed.
lemon.
Appreciate that. So if you head over to @O2 Sports right now, we're going to do a Twitter takeover with Tim and Anna Harrison, Henry Slade and Marlon Yard. So make sure you do that. Get your questions in, and we really appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great Sunday evening. And we'll see you soon. Who won?
I did. I won. Did I win? I think I won.